10 Astonishing Facts About the History of War. War has been an integral part of human history, with countless conflicts fought over the ages. Some wars have changed the course of history, while others have been forgotten with time. However, every conflict has left its mark on the world in one way or another. In this video, we will explore 10 astonishing facts about the history of war that will give you a glimpse into the past. Fact 1. The first recorded war in history. As mentioned earlier, the first recorded war in history took place in Mesopotamia between Sumer and Elam. This conflict was fought over access to fertile land and water resources. The war lasted for over 200 years and resulted in the rise of the Akkadian Empire, which dominated the region for centuries. The Akkadian Empire was established by Sargon of Akkad, who conquered the city-states of Sumer and created the first empire in history. The Akkadian Empire lasted for over 200 years and was known for its military prowess and cultural achievements. Fact 2. The largest army in history. The greatest army known in ancient times was constructed by Chandragupta Maurya. It consisted of 600,000 soldiers, 9,000 war elephants, and 30,000 cavalry. Chandragupta Maurya's army used a variety of weapons, including swords, spears, and war elephants. His military campaigns were primarily focused on unifying and consolidating his empire. Fact 3. The longest war in history. The third fact in our list of astonishing facts about the history of war is that the longest war in history lasted for over 781 years. This war is known as the Reconquista. The Reconquista was a series of military campaigns and battles fought between the Christian kingdoms of the Iberian Peninsula and the Muslim Moors, who had conquered much of the region in the 8th century. The objective of the Christian kingdoms was to reclaim their lands and expel the Moors from the Iberian Peninsula. The Reconquista began in 711 and continued until 1492, a period of over 781 years. During this time, the Christian kingdoms slowly gained ground against the Moors, gradually reclaiming their territories and driving the Muslim forces southward. The impact of the Reconquista on the history and culture of Spain was immense, as it marked the end of Muslim rule in the region and paved the way for the establishment of the Spanish Empire, which had a profound impact on the world. Fact 4. The first use of chemical weapons. The first use of chemical weapons in war occurred during World War I. The Germans used chlorine gas against Allied troops in 1915, leading to the deaths of over 90,000 soldiers during the war. The use of chemical weapons was a devastating development in the history of warfare. It introduced a new level of cruelty and inhumanity to the battlefield, and the effects of chemical weapons could be felt long after the war had ended. Despite the horrors of chemical warfare, the use of chemical weapons continued in subsequent conflicts, including the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s and the Syrian Civil War in the 2010s. Fact 5. The bloodiest battle in history. The Battle of the Somme, which took place during World War I, was the bloodiest battle in history. The battle lasted for 5 months and resulted in the deaths of over 1 million soldiers. The battle was fought between the British and French forces against the German army. The battle saw the first use of tanks in warfare, which were initially ineffective due to their mechanical failures and the rugged terrain. The Battle of the Somme was a turning point in the war and marked the beginning of the end of trench warfare. It also had a profound impact on the psyche of the soldiers and civilians who experienced the horrors of the battlefield. Fact 6. The first war to be broadcasted on television. The Vietnam War was the first war to be extensively covered by the media and broadcasted on television. The war was fought between North Vietnam and South Vietnam, with the United States supporting the South Vietnamese government. The Vietnam War lasted for over 20 years and saw intense fighting, including guerrilla warfare and aerial bombing campaigns. The war had a significant impact on American society, leading to widespread protests and social unrest. The media coverage of the Vietnam War was instrumental in shaping public opinion and fueling opposition to the war effort. The graphic images and video footage of the war broadcasted on television brought the realities of the conflict into people's homes, causing widespread shock and horror. Fact 7. The deadliest war in history. World War II was the deadliest war in history, with an estimated 70 to 85 million casualties, including both military personnel and civilians. The war lasted from 1939 to 1945 and saw widespread devastation and destruction across Europe, Asia, and Africa. The war was fought between the Allied powers, led by the United States, Great Britain, and the Soviet Union, and the Axis powers, led by Germany, Italy, and Japan. The war saw the use of new technologies and weapons, including atomic bombs, which were dropped on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, leading to the deaths of over 200,000 people. The legacy of World War II continues to shape international relations and global politics. The war led to the establishment of the United Nations, which was created to promote international cooperation and prevent future conflicts. Fact 8. The First Cyber War. The first cyber war in history took place between Estonia and Russia in 2007. The conflict was triggered by the relocation of a Soviet-era statue from Tallinn, the capital of Estonia, which sparked protests by ethnic Russians in the country. The cyber attacks targeted Estonian government websites, financial institutions, and media outlets, leading to widespread disruption and chaos. The attacks were carried out by a network of hackers and botnets, which were controlled by Russian government agencies. The cyber war highlighted the vulnerability of modern societies to cyber attacks and the need for improved cybersecurity measures to protect critical infrastructure and national security. Fact 9. The first nuclear weapon. The first nuclear weapon in history was developed by the United States during World War II. The Manhattan Project, which began in 1939, was a top-secret research program aimed at developing atomic bombs. The first atomic bomb was detonated on July 16, 1945, in Alamogordo, New Mexico. The bomb, nicknamed Trinity, had an explosive yield equivalent to 20,000 tons of TNT. The use of atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945 marked a new era in warfare and had a profound impact on international relations and global politics. The use of nuclear weapons led to widespread condemnation and sparked a nuclear arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union. Fact 10. The First War in Space. The first war in space took place during the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. The space race, which began in the 1950s, saw the two superpowers competing for dominance in space technology and exploration. The Soviet Union launched the first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1, into space in 1957, leading to a flurry of activity in the United States to catch up. The United States eventually landed a man on the moon in 1969, but the competition in space continued. The Cold War also saw the development of anti-satellite weapons and other space-based military technologies, leading to the first war in space. In 1985, the Soviet Union shot down a U.S. spy satellite, marking the first direct attack on a space asset. The history of war is a complex and multifaceted topic, shaped by political, economic, social, and cultural factors. From the first recorded war in history to the first war in space, the impact of war has been felt throughout human history, leaving lasting legacies and shaping the course of nations and civilizations. As we reflect on the astonishing facts about the history of war, it's important to recognize the human cost of war and the need to work towards peace and international cooperation. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this in the future. Thanks for watching.